The formal garden imposes geometric strictures on plants. Circles, squares, triangles. These are also known as French gardens. Informal gardens, also known as British gardens, were popularized in the 18th century and adhere to the shapes and contours of nature. A third type, the wild garden, only appears to be wild. It contains a seemingly random variety of plants and shrubs, which supports insects and wildlife. Gardening is a belief in the future, a belief that things will happen according to plan, that change will come in its due time.
There's a few variations this year, some practical, some seasonal.
You know what they say, Norm? Money is the best manure. The better the money, the better the manure.
She went on to explain that aesthetic gardens were a recent development. In colonial times, gardens were utilitarian, a cross between a grocery store and a pharmacy. In the Gilded Age, they became an entrance to high society, a place of conspicuous display. A garden job well done is a visual pleasure. Where there was an unsightly tangle, there is a display of what should be there instead of what should not be. Gardening is the manipulation of the natural world, the creation of order where order is appropriate, the subtle adjustments of disorder where that would be effective.
Easy, wasn't it, in the job description?
Do you think any of them made it?
Depends on the loyalty of that horse. Give a man enough time, he'll figure his way out of anything. I figure a few will make it. Hope a few do.
Why?
Someday you're gonna run this place. And for your son to someday run it too. You gotta understand what this ranch's greatest enemy is. It's not wolves or drought or blizzards or Texas fever. It's other man. Man will choose to take what you built rather than try and build it for himself. Every civilization in this world built on top of the one they conquered. You go to Rome or Jerusalem or Paris, France, and the city stacked on top of towns, stacked on top of villages, on top of one man's house, built on top of one man's cave. We wish it wasn't so, but it is. Your enemies have got to be so terrified that their fear is greater than their greed. I gave those men a chance because I wanted them to tell the world what happened when they crossed me. Let's get some sleep, boys. There ain't no telling what tomorrow is going to throw at us.
So, are you selling electricity in the valley?
Yes, ma'am. We'll run the cable as they pave the road to the park.
You see they're paving the road to the park?
All the way from Canada to Mexico.
What is that?
That's a washing machine.
What does it wash?
Clothes. Can you imagine? An electric motor spins the cylinder as water is pumped through the machine. Soap is added here, and the agitation removes any soiling.
What does that wash?
That's a refrigerator. Top compartment keeps food frozen. The bottom compartment maintains a temperature of 38 degrees.
And you sell these?
We rent them,
So you sell electricity, and then you rent all the things that need electricity?
more or less.
We don't need any of these things.
Well, they're conveniences. Their use gives you time to do other things.
What other things?
Well, like other chores.
So you invent machines to do those, then what do we do?
Go on a picnic. Go for a swim. Go to the cinema. You can enjoy a more leisurely life.
It ain't more leisurely, because we gotta work more to pay for all this stuff.
He's got you there.
This is the future. Every home in New York City has electricity. They have refrigerators. Some even have electric stoves.
Now here's the thing. We buy all this stuff, we're not working for ourselves anymore, we're working for you.
A washing machine seems like a good idea, I must admit.
It is the future, ma'am.
Morning.
Morning.
You want in here?
No, just watching.
Not sure this is worth watching.
No, it's worth watching. After all these years, it's still worth watching. You could watch me too, I suppose. You know, it's all the rage now. Women shaven, their legs beneath their arms.
Well, interesting fact, to be sure.
I wonder what that says about us as a species. I mean, it's not as if women were running a straight razor down their legs a decade ago. They invented a razor specifically for women when no need for one existed, and then invented the need. As if selling razors to half the population wasn't enough. What?
Didn't say a word.
But don't you find it curious?
I'm not curious. It's greed. That's it.
Exactly, that's exactly my point. What does that say about us as a species?
We've been married for 40 years.
44.
Okay, I'm rounding down to make us feel younger.
Well, that's not working.
And in all those years, you have never asked me a question that you did not have the answer to.
Ah, I have an answer.
I know.
Care to hear it?
I can't wait to hear it.
It'll be the thing that ends us. Greed will be the thing that kills us all.
I'm sure you're right. Now, what you really want to talk about?
Oh, nothing really. I just wanted to talk and I wanted you to listen, and you did. I wonder if you know how rare that is.
Know how rare you are. Which is why it is a pleasure and a joy to listen to you babble on about utter nonsense.
It's not nonsense. One day women will be shaving between their legs because some razor company told them to. You watch.
I won't be there to watch. Breakfast?
Breakfast be lovely.
How dare you give your back to me? After all I've given to you. It's not even justice. It's more petty than that. It's vengeance you seek. Never mind, you'll be arrested in the morning. You'd rather put the bullet in him yourself. Then it's you in prison, and the ranch is lost all the same. You think it's you who suffered the most? How would you know? You were asleep half the time. Well, I bathed you and spoon-fed you like an infant. I wiped your ass like an infant. Well, I shoveled graves between unanswered prayers. You don't know what it is to suffer. Emma did. She suffered her way into the hole I dug her. Elizabeth knows it. Father in the ground, family gone, stuck in his house like a dungeon. Can you fathom the strength it took for that girl to smile again? If there is a line forming for vengeance, you are at the back of it. We've abandoned any desire for vengeance, even Jack, for you. I wonder if your pride can withstand the sacrifice of showing us the same courtesy.
You saved my life. I know it. I did not need to be told. It's not vengeance. It's preservation. You've been to New York. You've been to Boston. Now close your eyes and imagine those places if the cities weren't there. Now do it. White sands stretching to forests of hickory and elm, taller than the buildings that stand there now. Meadows filled with bison and moose and bear. Millions of salmon swimming up the East River to spawn. So thick you could walk across them. it stands to build cities. This paradise becomes another concrete desert. I'm not going to kill them for what they done to me or what they done to John or what they're still doing to you. I'm going to kill them because the men who build cities always send men like Banner first. I do it for that child I'll never meet. I do it for the land. I do it for you. So that when you're laid to rest under the aspens, no one cuts them down, builds a city over you. I know how much you've suffered, and I thank you for it. It's their turn now. God damn it, it's their turn now.
Alvin Coolidge had 2 grizzly bears captured in Mexico, released on the White House lawn. Now, why'd he get them from Mexico? He can get all the grizzlies he wants right here.
Of all the things in that headline to disturb you, where the bears are from is the one thing that stands out.
Well, I'm saying that's a long way to go for a grizzly.
Doesn't bother you that he let them loose on the front lawn of the White House?
I wouldn't want to be the man who has to put them back in their cage.
Unemployment at historic lows. Down to 2.4%. Where?
Not here.
Your commission formed in Washington to regulate mining. CEO of Anaconda Copper Mines appointed chairman.
Whitfield.
Whitfield, silver mining CEO, Donald Whitfield, vice chair. They put the bosses of the mining companies in charge of regulating the mines.
I'll tell you all you need to know about politics.
Well, you're in politics.
I'm in law enforcement.
When you enforce the laws you push through. Jack, I ain't complaining. I'm just saying it's the same thing. Hey, you're a cattleman in charge of regulating cattle, am I wrong?
There's this theory that these scientists came up with after studying tribes in India and Africa, South America. The smaller tribes didn't have any government, didn't need any. They could sit down and talk out their problems, decide where to plant crops, to hunt. It was just a big family, really. But when the number of people got up around 500, if there wasn't any government, the strongest people would take advantage of the weakest. Every time, without fail. They would enslave, rape, steal, enrich their lives at the expense of other people's lives. Government's man's way of trying to control our behavior, but it can't be controlled. That's what we are. Sooner or later, the kind of people that would enrich themselves at your expense use the government to do it. And mark my words, one day they'll create laws to control what we say, how we think. They'll outlaw our right to disagree if we let them. I created the commission to protect the way this family provides for itself, how it protects the land.
Well, isn't Whitfield doing the same thing?
The exact same thing. Unfortunately for him, what's good for his way of life is not good for ours.
Well, what about right and wrong?
No such thing. Can't think that way. You can only think about what's good for this ranch, what's good for your family. That's it. Then you use their rules to do it.
A bear in the White House. Of all the things that happen in the world each day, why is the news telling you that? What aren't they telling you? That's the question. This isn't the news, Jack. This is camouflage. We don't talk politics at the table. If you know what's good for you, you'll remember that.
How do we both get in trouble?
Banner in jail doesn't solve anything. This fight ain't over, it's just begun. She's not mad. She's scared.
I want him fucking dead! I want his fucking wife dead. That smug fucking boy, the whole fucking clan.
Is this really what you want?
You bet your fucking ass that's what I want.
Wouldn't you rather be rich?
I'm already rich.
You have some money. That doesn't make you rich. True wealth is generational.
I could never spend all the money I've made. What I do now ensures that my great-grandchildren can't either. If you think about it, generational wealth is the closest thing a man can have to immortality. When a building has your name on it, that's immortality. And you don't achieve that from prison. If you wrangle some posse to descend upon his home, prison is where they'll send you. Vengeance will never make you money. You must set a goal, then formulate a plan to achieve it. Then you execute it without mercy. Emotion fuels every decision. He loves his land. He loves it. And we will take it from him. You won't need a gun, Banner. We can kill him with this. Your line of work appears to focus your attention on the season. Gardening in the spring, branding in the summer, selling in the fall, and then surviving the winter. The future receives all my focus. Once a mine is producing, I think no more of it. I seek the next. Back east, every home has electricity, running water. 1 in 10 Americans owns an automobile. At the end of the decade, it will be 1 in 4. The world will be mobile. You know, they expect 130,000 visitors in the park this year. Can you imagine? In 30 years, cattle will not be the largest industry in Montana, neither will mining. Can you guess what it will be?
I don't care what it will be.
You should. It'll have a profound effect on your family. Tourism. More Americans live in cities than the country for the first time in this nation's existence. And they will come by the millions to experience this majestic place. And they won't want to leave. Texas has its oil boom, our boom will be land. And as the 2 largest landowners in the state, we stand to benefit handsomely. I was looking over the public records. You're one of very few ranchers who owns his land with no loan. Impressive. Especially with the collapse of the market since the war ended. I commend you, sir. You were, however, behind on your property taxes. Were you aware?
The end of the year is not here yet.
The payments are biannual, as you know.
That's not a requirement, that's an option.
We argue semantics, and not much of an option for a rancher who only gets paid in the fall. The point is, that first payment has not been made. So, I took the liberty of making it for you. Hefty penny you owed. As I'm sure you're aware, if I'm not repaid by the end of the year, the deed reverts to me.
We have done no harm to you. Why would you do this to us?
Because I can. I'm a businessman. The word decent doesn't apply to me.
He can do this? Can he do this, Jacob?
My friends are too intimidated to ask, so they sent me.
Ask what?
American.
I'll never understand why you British are always so shocked to find an American anywhere but America.
Because it's so far. Look how far you've travelled.
How far you've traveled, I'm not shocked to meet you.
You're rude.
Us Americans are renowned for our lack of manners.
True. Do you drink champagne?
Well, celebrate.
And whiskey when you're down.
Whiskey when I'm down.
Here's to something we're celebrating. May it find you soon, sir. Huzzah. I like your style, sir.
What is this question you've been sent to ask me?
I don't have to ask you now, I know the answer. You're a hunter. Which reserve?
I don't guide hunters, I work for the Protectorate. I can't understand anything you say.
You're Spencer Dutton, the American war hero who hunts the man-eaters. You killed the man-eater of the Kalahari, the man-eater of Sabi, the man-eaters of Savo.
There's 5 and they killed the man-eaters, so.
You'll never convince her that.
And you just killed the man-eating leopards of Otsoswa.
You're famous in case you were unaware.
I was unaware.
Well, you are. It said you killed one with your bare hands.
Believe everything here.
Only when I want it to be true.
Why would you want that to be true?
The romance of it.
There's no romance in it.
Then why do you do it?
Because dying is the most alive you'll ever feel.
You don't see the romance in that.
And that's quite enough. She's engaged. So, with it.
Alexandra,
Come along now.
That'd be easy to ambush.
I suppose I'll see you at the bar for breakfast all in the morning.
I'll be gone in the morning.
Where does the next adventure take you?
East. Where does it take you?
I'm afraid all my adventures are over.
It's a shame.
I agree. Perhaps you'd whisk me away on yours.
You wouldn't like mine.
Don't bet on it.
Alexandra!
Stop the car.
Got room for another?
No, not really.
My knight in shining armor.
Alexandra!
Please drive. Look at me. If you don't want me to come, I'll get out.
Where I'm going is dangerous.
Let's look death in the eye then, shall we?
I'm the one who loves you.
Can you speak?
I can speak.
Can you raise your arm? You batter my face with no provocation, but sit idly by as Sister Alice runs her filthy hands across you. Perhaps I shouldn't have interrupted. Your favourite will empty the ice house all by itself. You think I'm your adversary, but I'm not. I'm your salvation, Tiona. I am the bridge from the extinct civilization of your people to the thriving society tasked with claiming this godless place. I offer all the skills required for a young woman to thrive as mother and wife. How to farm, how to cook, how to clean, how to read, arithmetic, science, most important of all, scripture. I offer all the skills you need to live a bountiful life. And you refuse them. Attack me for teaching them. Look at me, girl. I've sworn to kill the Indian in you. I will keep my word. If you ever lay a hand on me again, I'll kill the rest of you. are savage. Savage. Vile reminder of how your people lived. Far from the shadow god. No better than a wolf pack, and like the wolf. You must become a dog, or you will be hunted out of existence. Try to save your child from that most heinous enemy. Yourself. You're your own worst enemy. You must be cleansed, child. You must be bathed in the blood to be saved. But you must want it. You must want to be saved. Do you want it? I don't want anything you have. Do you want to be saved? No, I don't. She is the devil in her. Oh, don't worry. I have more. Okay. Okay, what? Save me. I saw him till come down from heaven. The old serpent. Cast him into the bottomless pit. Shut him up. Set a seal upon him. Was cast into the pool of fire and brimstone, where both the beast and the false prophet shall be tormented day and night, forever and ever. Your hearts be double-minded. Be sober and watch, because your adversary, the devil, as a Roman lion, go and there to throw down fire from God. He that committed sin is of the devil, and the devil sinned from the beginning. When the to God, he tries with hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye subjects therefore to God. Resist the
Where did she go?
I don't know.
You don't know why you're crying? What have the innocent to fear? Fear is the stench of guilt, child. And you reek of it. Where did she go? I don't know! When you do not tell the truth, you aid a sinner. To aid a sinner is a sin itself, child. To aid a murderer is to bathe in the blood of her victims.
I don't hear church.
Walking 400 miles through badlands and desert and canyons with no assistance, no supplies. You expect me to accept that as fact? You have strayed from the light, forsaken it. The devil runs you now. You are his marionette. He works your filthy mouth with his little strings. Now you will tell me the truth, or I will deliver you to him.
تشبيك باش ما يخيا أقبل بيخش كوك بس قاعد يحشيك يتجولك أقبل بيهو أمسيدوك دي لبما
Served a mission in Argentina, served one in Peru, the Philippines, all populated with people like you. People who now thrive. They thrive, build cities, grow crops, all in the bosom of Christ. They follow their teachings and they prosper. You reject them, fight them, and suffering is your reward. Salvation awaits in the light, and yet, you people choose darkness, seek it, crave it. I think your souls have been spoken for already. I think the devil has them. You don't need schools. You need exorcisms.
You're a priest.
I am.
Holy man.
Yes.
But you've killed,
In the name of God.
stolen
What have I stolen?
the land you sit on.
I have stolen nothing.
If you hadn't stolen it, you wouldn't be here. You'd be somewhere else.
I don't understand your pagan logic.
God has all these laws. I know them. I study them. You're supposed to teach us laws. But you break them and teach them. So the laws mean nothing to you. Which means that God doesn't exist. And you know it. Let's see.
I think the world would be a better place without you in it. Without any of you. Our Father, who art in heaven. Look at me when I speak. Hallowed be thy name. The kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This world is done on earth. My life is told. And then this is what you're called.
Children die, Marshal. These Indians are like wolves. Few thrive in captivity.
How many die a year, would you say?
Enough to warrant a graveyard.
My father had 3 children. Only one would live to see their own children grow. Only one would carry the fate of this family through the Depression and every other hell the 20th century hurled at them. Upon my father's death, my mother wrote to his brother, begging that he bring his family to this wild land and save hers. A year later, he arrived to find my mother frozen in a snowdrift, her 2 boys half starved and barely able to speak. He raised them as his own, and took my father's dream and made it into an empire. Then the empire crumbled. Man will always seek to take from others that which he can make for himself. Those are the words that have governed this family. Or is our refusal to surrender that governs us. There are no weekends on the ranch. The routine of Wednesday is the routine of Saturday. And the chores of Tuesday are still chores on Sunday. Though the banker and bookkeeper may be tethered to a calendar, ranchers are bound only to the seasons, and note the milestones of their lives by saying, we were married in the spring, or she was born in the fall. Or perhaps, on the hottest day, and the driest summer ever to plague Montana, my husband returned to me. There are only 3 answers to a prayer. Yes. Not yet. And I have something else in mind for you. Man's great challenge is trusting not yet, or something else, and avoiding the foolish notion of hope, wishing in nothing that your unanswered prayer is granted. Hope is the surrender of authority to your fate, and trusting it to the whims of the wind. My family does not hope. We fight for what we believe until we have it, or we are destroyed by the pursuit.
Seems like you two don't need a customer at all.
Who are you?
This is my house.
I thought it was Banner's house.
Banner lives here, but I own it.
It's lovely.
Thank you. I assume Banner failed to pay you before he left.
Not yet.
Does that cover it?
That's too much.
Well, we haven't finished yet, have we?
What do you think?
I'm going to show you.
He's a naughty one.
If you only knew.
A real naughty one.
Not like that. Like that. Just like that. Not a sound from you. I take no pleasure in screams.
She's awake.
Ah, splendid. Feel like some sport?
My wife came to town.
Ah, well, no fun for you then. I've procured some new toys for you, Lindy. I'm sure you'll like them. Lindy? Lindy, come here, sit down. You think I take pleasure from her pain, don't you? Her pain means nothing to me. I don't care if it does. I don't get my pleasure from her. I get it from you.
From me.
And it could be pleasurable for both of us, but you can't focus on the pain. Just the pleasure it gives you.
I don't see the pleasure in it.
The pleasure's in the power. Try it again. And think of the power you have. Stand up. It's your turn. Lay down. Let me have the belt. Now remember, not a sound. I bet I don't have to tell you twice. Lay down. Let me have the belt. Now remember, not a sound. I bet I don't have to tell you twice.